All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between LabyRinth versus Sock. This game taking place here on Tyrannus Stand. LabyRinth has spawned as the orange undead player on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Sock spawning under the name Mu Song Song is spawning as the yellow human. Human versus undead in a 1v1 matchup. Tale as old as time for all human players out there who generally have a difficult time trying to beat undead. Who's going to come out on top here as, well, things do get underway. Altar of Darkness, Crypt, and Ziggurat now being placed down along the map. This looks like it is going to be a Death Knight opening. Meanwhile, we are looking most likely at an Archmage or Mountain King opening. Now that I think about it, this is Tyrannus Stand, and the Mountain King was a popular hero of choice back in the day. I can't believe I'm saying back in the day for Tyrannus Stand. It seems like, well, times have changed. Equix, hello, thank you for tuning in. No. All right. Sock going for Paladin first in the human versus undead matchup, going up against the Death Knight. So Sock gonna be changing things up using a, well, not as common hero, especially with Footman to open. Normally you see a Paladin first if it's Rifleman. Not going to be the case this time around. It is going to be Paladin, a Footman, and we perhaps could see a Blood Mage as a second hero to try and minimize the effectiveness of that Death Coil Frost Nova combination. Coming back down to the south here, well, Footman already making its way down to the south. Gonna go ahead and scout out this location, hold its position there, and we are looking off on the other side here. Ghouls are getting added in as well. I'm sure all of you guys who are watching this channel well, are subscribed. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Even though I have reforged icons, I'm probably gonna end up trying to reinstall WarCraft 3, or perhaps Blizzard is going to release a new patch, and hopefully that will fix things. And that is big hopes, though, as we're looking at the Paladin now clearing out of this creep camp here. Frost armor giving a bit of problems, as it always does here, as we see now a rogue with lightning shield gonna, well, feed, or not feed back, but, well, getting a little bit too close will be hazardous to your health. Potion of invulnerability now dropped there, level 2 now on the Paladin. And with that level 2 potion, or with that potion, is he going to go for Devotion Aura or Divine Shield? That is my question. Meanwhile, undead players now opting to use the Sacrificial Skull, Rod of Necromancy, and trying to fast expand. Undead players having, well, seemingly finding new interesting ways to play undead after so many years. And I think this strategy has become, or the undead fast expansion strategy really became popular after Tyrannus Stand was, well, removed from the map pool, or perhaps all of the other maps were added to the map pool, making Tyrannus Stand not nearly as common. Scouting Footman easily gets taken down. Death Knight, Sacrificial Skull. As long as Sock clicked on LabyRinth's Death Knight and saw that there was no Scroll of Town Portal, he can safely assume and guess that his opponent has tried to set up an expansion. All right, he is setting up an expansion of his own, and that's one of those things out there for you guys. If you guys play WarCraft 3 and are learning how to get better, click on your enemy's units. Clicking on your enemy's unit will let you, or enemy hero will let you know what items they have. You can determine what creep camps have been cleared out oftentimes if you know the maps well enough. Consumable items, whether or not they have a Scroll of Town Portal, things of that nature, and what types of strategies are opened up if the undead does sell a Scroll of Town Portal. I think it would be a beautiful head fake if the Death Knight had purposely dropped a Scroll of Town Portal and then purposely allowed himself to be spotted or scouted out, and then picked it back up later, making his opponent think that an expansion was underway when it was in fact a quick tech to tier 2. That would probably be what I would call a pimp, one of the pimpest plays. But as we're looking at the Paladin now moving on in here, all right, Nerubian Tower already slowed down the Paladin. Acolytes may be trying to run, as, oh, beautiful use of that narrow passageway there. And, well, Divine Shield already looks like it's going to be coming to an end. Staff of Teleportation could be used here. Is he going to try and back away? Death Coil forcing that Paladin to back up just a little bit, as we see Footman Forest Troll Shadow Priest and Forest Troll Berserkers working together perhaps to try and get an additional bit of experience here. All right, Acolyte, hit one, Holy Light takes one down, hit another one, just trying to do a little bit of, well, chaining that damage. Gonna go, takes down another. This Acolyte here is still mining gold pretty consistently as he's gonna go ahead and try to chase down those units, as, well, Sock is just trying to punish his opponent for, well, doing a very fast expansion there. Oh, RNG coming back there, still having a little bit of hit points as we're looking at the Paladin now trying to go after another unit. There it gets taken down. That Acolyte, however, will be retreating back as the Paladin able to teleport back here, perhaps get some Forest Troll Shadow Priest heal, and now adding in a Goblin Shredder. If you don't have enough to clear out a Goblin Laboratory, consider hiring the Goblin Shredder to join in on the fight, as the, well, Scroll of Town Portal now needed here. Toma Strength +2 going to be picked up. Claws of Attack +5. Healing Wards picked up there. Was that the item that perhaps, I believe that was in fact the item that the Paladin ended up leaving behind, and that is a very big pickup for Labyrinth. Now, Sock may be suspecting that one expansion is underway. He probably will not believe that a second expansion is underway by Labyrinth, and Labyrinth may be able to get away with a secret base. The problem, as any WarCraft 3 player knows, if you expand far too much, you end up having too small of an army, and you end up having to go into low upkeep early. If that is the case, well, Sock should have a small window of opportunity to be able to punish his opponent for trying to be so greedy early on, before the greed actually turns into wealth. Over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map, no healing wards dropped at the camp at 7 o'clock. All right, then what item was dropped there? That's what I'm. It's not the true. Not the Wana Mana stealing. Healing. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock drops a perm item. All right, then what item was dropped? Unless it was already sold by the Paladin and I didn't see it in the corner because I don't recognize the items. Anyways, coming back through, Death Knight continuing to, well, put in pressure here. We're looking at the Assassins trying to put in pressure across all of these units. Paladin comes across, gets a Holy Light, saving the Forest Troll Berserker. Probably sold it. Yeah, maybe he sold it. Death Knight now trying to give chase there, as we're looking at all of the units looking to retreat back. Death Knight unable to land any death coils on any low hit point unit. Flute, I believe the flute was actually dropped by this Goblin Laboratory creep camp, since the Death Knight picked up that powerful perm item there. Death Knight now clearing out the remainder of this creep camp using that healing ward. Eagle-eyed viewers who have a rewind button can let me know what I actually missed in what item drop that was. Yeah, it was probably sold. So the True Shot Aura was dropped elsewhere. All right. Paladin now making his way down to the south here. This expansion, well, repairing on that Ziggurat already. And we are looking at a Nerubian Tower and a Ziggurat and perhaps a Haunted Gold Mine as well. It looks as though quite a bit of damage was dealt across multiple units, as we see a bit of denial right there. Paladin going to try to dive on in, get some damage. There's a Holy Light 1-2 combination, finishing one off, trying to finish off another here. The Nerubian Tower and the Spirit Tower cannot deal any damage, as we're looking at the Zeppelin unable to really fight back there as a Book of the Dead was used. Meanwhile, coming back around, there's another Holy Light Staff with teleportation. The Paladin able to punish his opponent for trying to fast it or expand in and get into a greedy economic game. I can't believe I'm actually saying the undead has 3 bases compared to the human having 2 bases this early before the 10-minute mark of this game, as the Paladin needs to heal back up. Lich now picking up as that second hero. Tech to tier 3 is underway. There's that Lich making its way out. Does have Frost Nova as that first ability. Paladin wants to be Arthas. All right, continuing to make its way back around. Yeah, I just don't like the blue tint, the Frozen Throne influence, or Wrath of the Lich King influence, having blue eyes. It seems a little bit overdone compared to the. I guess that's the WarCraft 3 art style, as opposed to the original World of Warcraft art style, compared to the WarCraft 3 art style that doesn't really coincide with a real-time strategy game. Acolytes, or excuse me, Gargoyles now in the air to deal with those. Well, I guess there are apprentice wizards. I guess no, they're not an acolyte. I'm getting onto a tangent. Gargoyle now in the air to deal with any sort of Goblin Zeppelin play that could come underway. We are getting up a Necropolis here. There are a couple of ghouls to try and punish any sort of footman harass here, as we see the Paladin once more diving on in. There's a Frost Nova. The Rubian Tower is going to follow it up. No, Paladin able to shake off the cold of the Frost Nova, and now going after all of these Acolytes here. There are plenty of Necropolis is out, and what is this going to ultimately do except give the Paladin level 5? Level 5 Paladin constantly harassing. Level 2 Divine Shield. You can see Acolyte after Acolyte getting punished here, as the Paladin still has some time on his Divine Shield, it feels like, trying to go after another Acolyte there, constantly bursting them down. Death Coil, Frost Nova. Paladin could have a Staff of Teleportation to head on out, and this harassment style game from the Paladin, well, starting to take a bit of a toll. Scroll of Regeneration being used on the Paladin. Paladin may want a Potion of Healing as well, and try and rinse and repeat that strategy. Also, perhaps needs a Priest or two to try and heal up as well. All right, Sock saying anything you can do, I can do better, as Sock sets up his own third base as he's fallen a bit behind. 60 supply compared to 49 supply here, as Sock is sitting on 2 bases with no upkeep compared to 3 bases for LabyRinth in low upkeep. A 21 gold a second versus 20 gold second difference, except, well, the army sizes are significantly different. Lich gonna clear off the remainder of this creep camp here. Blood Mage wants to get to level 3. Death Knight already sitting at level 5, wandering around the map. I'm surprised that the flute of the True Shot aura is not on the Lich now. It makes much more sense, as the Lich does get a bonus attack, and also it gets a little bit of bonus damage across any units that happen to be nearby him. We are looking at the Obsidian statue still rallied to the Death Knight. I wonder if that was a bit of a misclick there, as the Paladin now tried to rush on through. Could he try and burst down that Lich? He could have tried to engage and burst down that Lich, but Frost Armor would have made things a bit uncomfortable. Lots of gargoyles in the air. We are looking at triple Griffin Aviary, as we are now transitioning into dual workshops. So dual workshops for flying machines to deal with the gargoyles. And we are also looking at Dragonhawk Riders as well. But the Dragonhawk Riders do not have the animal war training. They are going to have an uphill battle against any sort of Frost Nova, well, a carry-on swarm strategy that Dreadlord may be able to introduce. Frost Nova slowing things down, and carry-on swarm finishing things up, bursting a lot of damage out of the sky. 5-2-1 going up against a 4-2 here. Paladin once again down to the south, just constantly trying to punish his opponent, taking down Acolyte after Acolyte, as the Blood Mage now needs to retreat back. There goes a Shackle onto a Gargoyle. There's a Banish onto the Dragonhawk Rider, allowing him to safely shackle down that Gargoyle, but now a quick sleep on the Dragonhawk Rider, preventing that strategy as well. Coming back through the Paladin or Guard Towers, trying to poke back all of this damage here. No masonry upgrade, so the towers will fall relatively quickly, especially with so many AoE damage coming across all of those peasants and the minimum number of repairs. A lot of Shackle being brought back over, but Scroll of Town Portal will whisk them away still, as they all back away there. All right, Masonry upgrade should be considered. Paladin sitting at level 4, LabyRinth still sitting at level 5, Lich getting very close to level 3, and that Dreadlord still sitting at level 1. We've seen Sock now burst into the upper ends of low upkeep. We are taking the tier 3 now, trying to get up as many units as possible and adding flying machines to the repertoire, or to the, well, not to the arsenal of the human army. Down to the south here, we're looking at Gargoyles getting healed up. Well, still waiting for that Lich, who finally got to level 3, and that Dreadlord, who now sits at level 2, but hasn't chosen an ability yet. interestingly enough, Vampiric Aura could work out extremely well, and it is going to be Vampiric Aura as the Gargoyles do 63 to 90 damage per attack there. All right, big damage across the board. No Carrion Swarm. Goblin Sapper is now trying to dive on in. Is going to take down a Nerubian Tower. No, it is not. We're looking at some healing across multiple units. Gargoyles are trying to finish things off, as you can see that the Gargoyles are able to get in a little bit of self-regeneration there as the Lich is continuing to fight and now getting drained as well. Paladin sitting now at level 5. More damage going back and forth. Gargoyles are getting destroyed here. Banish right there. Holy Light trying to save some of those other units as the Death Knight continuing that chase. Taking down a Dragonhawk Rider here as the Gargoyles are continuing to finish off more and more units. There's another Holy Light by the Paladin. 600 hit point heal, more than enough. Interestingly enough, the Death Knight is the hero with the Orb of Corruption. LabyRinth realizing that his opponent going for mass air, and he needs other heroes that can actually attack those units, especially if those Gargoyles are shackled down. All right, Acolyte just on patrol here, wandering back and forth, ready to start mining. Meanwhile, Gargoyles are looking to try and finish things off once again. There's a couple of shackles and 3 quick shackles right there. Ghouls are going to get taken down pretty easily, trying to finish off the remainder of Gargoyles. Is this going to give experience to the Blood Mage? Yes, it will. I believe there was a guard tower shot that denied experience right there, as the Paladin and the Blood Mage need to figure out a way to answer the undead army. The heroes, as they get stronger and stronger, perhaps Dreadlord, will he actually try to go for level 2 Vampiric Aura on those Gargoyles, being able to heal a significant amount of damage on every attack. That's actually one of the scariest things. This is actually the highest melee, I believe it's the highest melee damage in the game, 64 to 100 on a fast attacking melee. That is the fastest. I gotta believe that is the fastest overall. All right, every gold mine is being mined from currently 3 bases versus 3 bases in this north versus south matchup here. 71 supply compared to 72, as Sok has, even things up, and now using Cloud to effectively bombard the Spirit Towers and the bases here. This air supply, this air game coming across, we're looking at, the Spirit Tower about to get absolutely destroyed. 1-0 upgrades. Meanwhile, it looks like it could turn into a base race strategy. Death Knight and now Dreadlord and Lich are showing back up as well. All right, Scroll of Town Portal going to go ahead and retreat. Dragonhawk Riders coming back around. There's a bunch of shackles, and now without any real Gargoyles trying to engage, the Vampiric Aura looks like an absolute poor choice. 59 supply compared to 79. Sok absolutely owning the skies with this air army. 1-0 on the flying machines, and 2-1 on those on the Dragonhawk Riders. All right, Obsidian Statue trying to retreat away. Is it going to be able to do exactly that? No, unable to do so, as the flying machines are able to attack the ground, even if it just is simple siege damage. Griffin Riders now in the air as well. Deathclaw trying to save, as LabyRinth, who had a decent supply lead, now starting to fall apart. Frost Nova trying to slow things down. Banish Banish Holy Light to try and take down that Lich. Banish as a great follow-up ability, and now transitioning into Griffins, allowing for bonus damage as well. All right, are we going to perhaps see the Obsidian Statue getting taken away? No, or taken out nowhere or not. Death Knight, as always, with that unholy aura, able to outrun the human army and get away easily. All right, we could get some repairs underway. Paladin, Paladin into air army, as strong of a choice as it is, makes the Paladin's ultimate ability completely useless. The Paladin will not be able to resurrect any unit that does not leave behind a corpse. And Griffin Riders, Dragonhawk Riders, and Flying Machines all do not leave behind corpses. So unless there's a transition into Knights, which I don't believe there will be at this stage, even though it could happen, as we already have upgrades and I believe the Animal War training ready to go. And I just don't see that happening just quite yet. Well, nope, there's a large number of Crypt Fiends on the ground. We could see a transition into Knights and then see Resurrection come into play. Level 3 Holy Light, level 2 Devotion Aura getting retrained there. There's a quick Cloud here to try and protect all of these units, denying this Nerubian Tower. Dreadlord Vampire might not be so great now. You're right, Crota. He's not even getting Gargoyles anymore. Yeah, the Gargoyles not really helping at all. And I think Carrion Swarm is actually the better call. Would have been the better, more flexible call. The Vampiric Aura, if you're able to get it to work, your opponent can easily shut down all of those gargoyles, and now there's just not enough melee units. Couple of webs, or a lot of webs now being brought back over. A death coil being used there. Blood Mage really draining quite a bit of mana. Sleep trying to take down or stopping some of that shackling coming across as the Crypt Fiends are continuing to fight back. Around 72 supply compared to 71 now. Both sides training up a fair number of units, and it is now level 2 Sleep coming in from that Dreadlord as the Griffins are looking to take down perhaps those Obsidian statues. Taking down the Crypt Fiends first, though, as the Obsidian statues are perhaps the easier target, but not the highest priority, as the Crypt Fiends have been constantly webbing down and stopping the mobility. So this pivot into Crypt Fiends by LabyRinth working out extremely well, and now we could actually see, yes, Animate Dead coming across and online, but will it matter? Yes, it will. There are enough Crypt Fiends down here to try and web down the remaining units, as we now see the Paladin get up to level 6. Level 3 Devotion Aura, level 3 Holy Light, but there's not that much out on the battlefield to heal. 53 supply compared to 56. The pivot into Scroll of Town Portal now being used. This pivot, that Blood Mage is going to get taken down. One more shot could do it. No, does not get taken out. All right, are we transitioning into Knights now? No, we are not. Still cranking out a bunch of Griffins, trying to take down the peasants. Trying to get back into no upkeep perhaps, but still needs to finish off one more peasant here, as he wants to perhaps bank up a large amount of gold and then perhaps try and train up enough units. All right, there are 3 Crypt Fiends out here on the battlefield. The Animate Dead, a useful undead ability there, adding in additional Crypt Fiends. And now, perhaps, I believe we saw a Dark Ritual come across from the Lich, being able to should also be able to sacrifice and get mana back. That is a great way to use Dark Ritual. 125 mana could end up giving 500 mana or more to that Lich, as we're looking at a potential engagement here. Mountain King out here onto the battlefield as a third and final hero. Potion of Invulnerability used there, as we're looking at Peasants just absolutely getting taken down. And now Death Knight sitting at level 6, the Dreadlord trying to hide in the back. Level 2 Sleep. I'm not quite sure that is absolutely necessary, as the units are going to try and get engaged here. All right, there is a Banish to finish off that one Crypt Fiend, as the Blood Mage may try and siphon mana here, but has to be extremely careful about how he tries to follow things up. There is a burrowed Crypt Fiend right there. Paladin now bringing over a bunch of militia, and we'll see if the 6-4-1 Paladin Blood Mage Mountain King combination can deal with a 6-4-3, soon to be 6-5-4 undead combination by LabyRinth. I am really surprised that we are not transitioning into Knights at this stage. There is just that many Crypt Fiends out here onto the battlefield. The Stormbolt and Holy Light finishing things off. A very deadly 1-2 combination, as that Banish ends up doubling the amount, or not quite doubling, but giving it out an additional amount of damage for that Holy Light and for that Stormbolt. Orb of Fire on the Mountain King, a little bit of rain or denying of healing there if necessary. 79 supply coming in from LabyRinth, 62 supply coming in from Sock. Still no transition into Knights. Main gold mines have been mined out. Expansion gold mine has 3 minutes of mining left. Final Far expansion still has about, what's that, more than 5 minutes, 7 minutes left here. And off to the here, 10 minutes once it gets up and operational again. LabyRinth may be able to just continue to put pressure on that top right base and eventually, siege out his opponent by denying him resources. Crypt Fiends are here, ready to go. There's a couple of webs. There goes 1 web, 2 web, 3 web, as the Griffins are now going to try and fight back. There is a Sleep right there. Are we going to see the death of a Crypt Fiend? Yes, we are. Blood Mage, no Flame Strike, and as it got banished, as Flame Strike could work out extremely well, making all of these Crypt Fiends try and move around. All right, Sock having a big problem here, not transitioning into Knights has become the issue, as the Griffins are just so easily countered by a mass number of Crypt Fiends. The tech swap, tech change there, as LabyRinth takes out Sock by constantly rotating and changing his strategy. I liked this game a lot, just for the fact that we didn't see the same units over and over and over again. We saw gargoyles with vampiric aura, then we saw a transition into different air units, then transition into mass ground units into those crypt fiends. Sock never really pivoted from those from his Griffin and air units to any strong ground units, really opening up the way for LabyRinth to be able to just mass crypt fiends and web down the entire human air army. Let me know what you guys think. I think Flame Strike would have been good. Yeah, well, you got to remember first, as the Blood Mage was being trained, Flame Strike would not be that good, as normally you want Flame Strike against slow-moving ground targets, since they seem to stumble on themselves quite a bit. At the time, it was still mass gargoyle, so another tome of retraining would have been necessary in order for that to work. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.